Hi guys, welcome back to Willow Studios. Today I'm going to be showing you how I do mitres. Now I've seen a few videos on YouTube of hobbyists and others basically doing mitres and over-engineering them to make them stronger by putting splices in and whatever else, biscuits and this, that and the other. Also what I'm going to show you guys is how I glue them up. Now a lot of people like to use bang clamps and stuff like that on their mitres, and they try and use clamps as well on their mitres, when a lot of the time it's not necessary. But we've got a little trick as to how we glue them up, so stick around and I shall show you.
First things first, you'll need to cut the mitres. Now I'm using a very expensive panel saw to do this, but any mitre saw will do, so long as that your mitres are bang on 45 degrees. Okay, so we're going to start with the box mitre. Firstly, lay out all of your pieces in a straight line and use a straight edge to flush them up on the top. Then, with the mitres tip to tip, put masking tape across the tips of the mitres. A tip with this is to have just the mitres overlapping just fractionally, and this is so that when you do wrap it up into the box, it will then pull the mitres nice and tight. When gluing the mitre, put a couple nice beads of glue on the mitre. There's no need to brush this out because when you roll the mitre up into a box, it will spread it out itself. It's really as simple as folding the mitres up and you have your box. Now for the framework mitre. With the framework mitre, I like to strengthen the masking tape by putting packing tape on the outside. This is because the mitre is very sharp, and when you roll it up, when you're gluing it up, it can tear it if you do not do this. For applying the tape to the framework mitre, it's very similar to the box mitre. Just apply the tape to the exterior of the mitre. Same again when gluing this mitre, just a couple of beads is all you need and it will spread out itself out when you roll the mitre up. Now with the framework mitre I tend to do one corner at a time and then join the two together afterwards, because when you've got a big frame it's quite tricky to do all four corners perfectly.
Okay, so you've seen me put together two sorts of mitres there. We've got the box style of mitre, which is used for drawer boxes or carcasses or jewellery boxes or whatever. And you've got the framework mitre. Now, you can use band clamps to do this, but this is almost a way to do it without band clamps. It works, I find, just as well. One thing that I think is a factor as to why people like to put stuff in their mitre joints is obviously for strength, but also because these mitres here are bang on and they're cut on a very expensive panel saw. But for hobbyists, obviously a very expensive panel saw isn't an option. So with your mitre saws and whatnot, the angles might not be 100% correct. But if the angles are correct, you shouldn't need anything extra in the joint. Now sometimes we do put a biscuit in a joint like this if it's a framework on some solid timber around a MDF panel or something, just to keep it level and stop it moving, but for strength it isn't really necessary. If you're doing mitred boxes like this, the majority of the time you will be putting a bottom on it. So I've put that on there, I've glued that on as well, and I will be doing a strength test on this to show you how strong it is. And I also will take the bottom off, and then I shall also do a strength test without the bottom on to demonstrate how strong these mitres are without any joints in.
For this test, I decided to throw it at the ground as hard as I could, because there's always going to be somebody that says, oh, you didn't throw it hard enough. Well, I think any joint would fail if you threw it this hard at the ground.
Right, and for my last test, I'm going to hang from the forklift from these mitres to show you how strong they really are. Whoa! See, far strong enough, no biscuit in there at all. So I hope you liked the video, guys. Please comment, like and subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one.